Alright, welcome back everyone, and today we are doing last stage in the 80% route, Meltdown Mayhem. And this is a Drambi stage, so you're not going to have a lot of crazy tricks that'll really speed you up throughout the stage. Drambi stages are very straightforward stages. And if you remember at the end of the last stage, 6-7, we had the damage boost Dixie off, so you're usually waiting just a little bit to pick Cranky up. Biggest time saves on this stage are going to be pogoing as often as you can and not having to start up any roll jumps or running with Drambi if possible. There are some sections like this one right here where you're waiting on the scenery to happen, so you can't really do anything but wait. That's actually one of the biggest reasons why runners die on this stage. Not because it's a difficult stage, but because for the last stage of this game, they decided that waiting would be a difficult game design choice. That middle section's always fun to nail though. And so is this trick. Pretty cool. One day I sat down in Time Attack and I watched the top time. I said to myself, I gotta learn that. It's way too cool not to do it. The infamous AGDQ barrel and the birth of the hot hoots. Poor little hoots. Goes to the end, baby. Alright. So, once again, we have found a way to make a stage that was difficult enough on its own and decided to make it harder by optimizing it as hard as we could. Pogos, waiting as little as possible, earliest jumps possible. All of that stuff is very common for stages where you otherwise don't have any magnificent tricks. So the first person who inspired me to go look at Time Attack and do that that little ditching Drambi strat was actually Goldfish. Big shocker there. He actually, one day he was doing it in runs and I was like, excuse me, what is that? So again, at the beginning of the stage, normally you don't have Cranky. You would normally be solo DK, so you just gotta wait a little bit, make sure you pick up Cranky, and then get going. 1, 2, 3. Now, wow, actually, that's crazy. So if you notice that when I slapped the pad the third time, I actually didn't bounce up. I didn't mean to do it, but this is actually a Time Attack trick that saves you just a little bit of time. Normally every time you slap the pad, you go down and then spring back up. If you slap it on the right side, so that you are actually like barely off the platform itself, you don't bounce, so it saves you a little bit of time. Just keep in mind that when you do that, the lava in the background that's pushing the platforms up and down, that is still rolling, so it is a little blind, and you want to be sure that you don't die. I like to do a small bounce there. I've tried running across a lot of these gaps, and only the ones that I actually run over are the ones that you can, so be careful. You cannot run over that gap, you have to jump. You can just do a light pogo here. If you do a light enough pogo, you won't bonk your head into the ceiling there. But it's important to keep pace because of this button right here. That's a little bit further. There we go. You can actually bonk into the wooden part right there, and you would fall to your doom. So be careful not to lose too much speed. Normally you have to jump to break through the bullseye target, but if it's too low, you can run off straight into it. However, most of the time, when you get there, you just jump and you'll break it. That's all you got to worry about. Roll, well, run, jump, run. This one, you can stay back here a little bit, and then you can actually jump on top of this brick. Normally, Drambi would break any of these bricks if he comes into contact with them, but you can run on top of them so long as he didn't crash into them. And the reason why you want to do this is because this gives you just enough height to... Oh, of course I wouldn't. Just enough height and distance that you can run and do a running pogo off the tuck. A little bit faster than waiting for him to come down. You would run and jump into all of that nonsense. It is possible to pogo on this section. It's just this is one of those stages where it's like, you know, you can pogo if you want to, but you end up having to wait on so much of the stuff here. That O is a little tricky to get if you're looking to do hundo strats. That's its own mess. But again, this is the any percent. Don't worry about letters if they're going to slow you down. And when you get into this barrel, you can fire immediately. And then for this one, you want to wait just a little bit. And then you can fire 1, 2, 3, 4. And then once you're in this one, you got to wait. You can actually do pretty early shots on those, but be careful. If you fire too early, you'll fall to your doom. So. And then this section has a pretty cool setup. What I like to do right here, this is an all pogo route that I'm about to do. So there's a bullseye coming up that you want to break, and what I like to do is I like to make it so that I do I run into it while I'm pretty close to the ground. I don't want to like jump into it, because every time Drambi jumps into something, he tends to lose a lot of his roll speed. So if you want to keep run speed, stampede speed throughout this section, you want to do you want to make sure that you're pogoing into them as you fall, because the game is like, oh, he's so close to the ground. It would be so close to the ground, it would be silly to slow him down. So as you saw in the first one, I basically crash into it on the way down, pogo up. You want to do a light pogo onto that middle icy platform, and then another one. But off that middle icy platform, again, you're trying to make it so that you land into this bullseye when you're close to the ground. Do another light pogo, light, light, light. Now for this section right here, you just wait a little bit, and the reason normally you would just run across this into the barrel, but if you wait a little bit, it'll carry you up. And on this section up here is the setup for the Drambi ditch strat. So run deep, pogo, dismount, jump. Oh no. Now the reason why you don't want to screw this up is because you're screwed without Drambi. And then you lose Cranky. But yeah, you saw how you would get up there, and then you just have to time your roll jump a little bit. A little tricky. It took me some getting used to, but it's really fun once you get the hang of it. Otherwise, if you don't want to go for that, that's all you gotta do. And you just wait here for a second. Now, running off of this with Drambi, you can just run off if you are quick on it, and then you would just pick up Drambi again real quick right there. Nothing really needed to explain here. Just run, jump, you know, lots of simple stuff. For this one, I just wait a second, and then you can run off. And for that one, you actually you can skip that. A lot of people don't know their first time through, but you just run through it, and like when you're running off with a roll, you can jump mid-roll. Drambi, as you're running off with a stampede, you can run mid-stampede, so long as you are stampeding. So run through it, and then you can jump onto the last platform. It'll come up. And it is possible to get the N, just like that. You gotta wait a little bit, be very careful. A lot of runners accidentally land in there and then mash A and fall to their doom. Oh god, it's a terrible way to lose a lot of time. And for this last section, just running. Lots of running. There's a G. Running, jump. Make sure you're holding A, because sometimes Drambi will stop if you like tap A into an obstacle. And that's Meltdown Mayhem. Pretty basic stage, but you know, the perils are everywhere. There's lava everywhere. It's very easy to fall in and die. And more importantly, this is unfortunately a stage where like ditching Drambi is almost impossible. So you need to make sure that like all of your jumps don't require ditching Drambi to save yourself. That one instance in the middle of the stage where it is possible is only barely possible, because you can skip over it and pick up another Drambi crate. Just gonna default it to Cranky, make this nice and easy here. I'd also like to point out how this is like the third stage where they use the Snowmed theme. And I waited for that barrel for whatever reason. Oh god. Good. Let's see if I can get all the tricks this time. Whoa! Okay, careful. Always be careful. It's very easy to run off and die. Blast, wait, blast, 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 blast. Oh no! I fired too soon. Oh god. Perfect example of like what happens when you try and save too many frames. I don't like the way I jumped off that. Okay, again. Blast, 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 blast. Wait. Wait. There we go. Alright, now for the middle section. Pogo, 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 pogo. Careful, you can sometimes run into that Drambi crate. Okay, made it that time. Kind of a tricky jump, so do practice it a couple times before you actually commit to doing it in your runs. It's a pretty sad way to lose your run on the second to last stage here. It's the last actual stage, and then we have the boss. There's your all pogo. You want to make sure you pogo on the last bit of that ice there if you can manage it. And it's just all full pogos to the end. Pretty nice if you can manage it. Oh, cool. New best. Well, I do hope that this guide has helped you out for 6-8 here. It is a bit of a nuisance, but you will eventually overcome this stage without any problems. Don't let it be the end of your runs, please. You're so close to the end. And now all we have left to do is face off against the Snowmad King, the one who sent us all the way to Mangrove in the first place. I will see you there next time.